Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome back with the most hated guinea pig on YouTube. God, YouTube hates us. They hate the collective. But we are not going to stop, and we're going to get our message out there anyway, because if they get in our way, we are going to nibble off their toes. So what I want to talk about today is something that I've heard about quite often over the year that I've actually been doing content on YouTube. Now, this has come from other YouTube creators and other people that maybe that were in certain chats where they said that you cannot and never will be able to create any kind of lasting friendships on not only YouTube, but any other social media platform, because they said it's just not possible, because these people you meet, you don't know them and they don't know you, and there's no way you can form a friendship with somebody that you've actually never met in person. Well, you know what? I say horse shit, absolute horse shit, because there has been numerous people that I've met not only on this platform, but on through Twitter or through Facebook that have become longtime friends of mine. You don't have to meet somebody face to face to be able to get to know them. You look at things from years past when people were in wartime and they would have correspondence that they would write to, and they became lifelong friends just from writing letters to one another. Is this not the same thing that you could do on social media when you meet people? Yeah, there's always going to be a few people that maybe you don't know them as well as you think you do, but you get to know them over time through interaction. This is how things work in reality. But there's a few people that have their heads buried in the sand and say it can't be true because there's just no way it can be true. I can't stand that kind of narrative. I mean, if you're going that route, let's say that you had family or friends that you never had a chance to meet in real life for whatever reason. You were separated at birth. They were in a different part of the country. Because you've never met them in person, does that mean that they're not your relatives? Does that mean that they're not your family? I mean, this is the kind of stupidity that prevails in people that have small minds, and they look through a window of narrative that is only something that they believe in. That it's not what everybody else believes in, because you can make quite a few friends on this platform if you take the time to look for them, because there are amazing people like all you amazing people that are in the chat right now. You're all great. Keck44, Ancient One, Chaos Hoy, McKinney 90, Terry Rose. I know I seen Kai in here earlier. The Memes of Destruction, Grobnob the Troll, Kai, MFS, man, what's going on? Hey, you know what? Thank you guys for coming so much. And do me a favor, go ahead and share that link out for me, because YouTube hates me and they like to bury me anytime that they can in the algorithm. So joining us today is my buddy Culture Casino. Culture, what is going on, my friend?
Hey there. I'm glad to be here, Tommy. How are you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I am doing great. So what do you think about these people that are naysayers and say that you can't develop any kind of friendships over YouTube?
Well, I think they're clearly wrong. I think, and I've mentioned this before to other people. There are 20 or 30 people that I've become friends with just from being able to interact with them here on YouTube or on Twitter, or a combination of both. A lot of people I now consider friends who, if I needed to, I could reach out to for support. I could rely on them to try to take care of something for me. This is a unique opportunity that we have to connect with people that we normally wouldn't be able to. And I think being able to reach around the world and create a close personal friendship with somebody that, is 17 hours of plane time away. I mean, that's unique. I mean, we live in an awesome time when, you can have a friend in Australia, you can have a friend in Canada, you can have a friend in the UK, all simultaneously, or even in, you can even have one in Japan. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. And to me, friends are the family that you choose, because, you were talking about this just a second ago. There are you might have family members in the UK, which I do. There are a few of those folks I've never met, and so, I'd like to someday, but, that doesn't make them less of my family. Just like when I haven't met face to face some of these people, other than maybe face to face like we're doing right now, but I have a good sense of that person. I mean, after talking with them and spending time with them, I know who they are. And you made an excellent point about, World War II specifically, where, soldiers would exchange letters with folks, across an ocean, to have connection to home. And you're right. Lifelong friendships can be forged in many different ways. And believe it or not, even on social media.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, well said. I mean, I just find it so redundantly stupid that people just want to take that and they want to say that there's no way you can form those friendships, because there has been some amazing people. I mean, and I really don't like talking about it a whole lot, but I mean, there's been so many amazing people that actually helped me out in my own time of need. People that I have never met face to face, but were willing to go out of their way, whether they were sharing my PayPal or whether they were sharing my eBay or they were actually making purchases or dropping PayPal money. Wink, wink. But you know what? I mean, these were people I've never met in person, and I consider them all my friends for what they did, because they've done more for me than people that maybe I knew years ago that were my friends. I mean, not to say that I still don't have some friends from my childhood. I have one friend who lives in he still lives in New Jersey. He still lives right outside of Trenton. My friend Michael, and he has done tremendous things for me while I couldn't be there for, like, for example, for my father up there in New Jersey. He's all by himself. My brother's in a nursing home, and my buddy Mike will go over there and check on my father for me, since he knows that, me getting on a flight and going up there is really, it's not financially, feasible for me to do that all the time to go check on him. So he will go out of his way for me to go check on him for me. I mean, it's shit like that. But there's been people on YouTube, over social media, that have done things very similar like that for me. And they don't really know me that well. They know me from in the chats, or they know me from the channel and everything like that. And, some of them I've got to know a little bit better. Some of them I'm still getting to know. But it's one of those things. I mean, can you really just sit there and say, oh, because I've never met them in person, that they can't really be friends? I mean, what is it? It's a phantom relationship.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I agree with you. You know that I do. I mean, we've talked about this in our group chats that we have on Twitter and stuff, where we have persons that have gone out of their way to go over and check on someone's animals because they were out having surgery. I think or just people that they've never met that make arrangements to try to help and take care of other human beings. And see, and that's the thing. I mean, in a world that we live in right now, forging legitimate connections is hard, but it's not impossible. And one of the ways you can do it is through this platform or Twitter. Even as toxic as this platform and Twitter can be, or Instagram or anything else. Yeah, I mean and you made specific examples. I mean, recently, there were people reaching out to you when you were in a position where you could use some help. And it's somebody else recently, Moira Kitty, she did the same thing. She reached out to people. She got tons of support. It exists. You can make friends. I mean, and you can count on people, to do things for you, and I'm a huge believer in karma, and you probably already know that about me, but to me, a friendship is all about an exchange of good karma. There's almost never bad karma, unless you do something willfully bad to the other person. It's a beautiful reinforcement of something positive. So, you'll never get me to argue that you can't form fast friends with somebody on YouTube. I mean, come on, Tommy, I never would. I don't think our paths would have ever crossed in real life. And if they did, it would have been at a bar somewhere. But, yeah. Otherwise, you and I are quite close now. And I mean, I've only been on this platform for what, 5 months, I've been around for 5 months, guys, maybe 6, if you think, back to sometime end of January or whatever. And I've made, like I said, 20, 30 people that I know that I could reach out to and say, hey, can you give me some help with this? Cause I really don't know, what I'm doing, or, hey, can you meet somebody for me to, get something from them, or, can you send me this thing? I truly believe that would be possible. And I agree with you, Grob. Now, you definitely have to feel somebody out, but I can tell you, I get a sense for people on this platform specifically, pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot there are a lot of ideas are exchanged, a lot of personal information is transacted. When you have those legitimate kinds of interpersonal transactions, I think that, while cautious, I mean, I think you can depend on people fairly quickly. So, but I understand your point.
He also had this to say, and I thought this was kind of funny. So sometimes those internet friendships can actually backfire just a little bit. Well, not unless you wanted to get drunk in Geneva, but
Well, I don't know. There's worse places to get drunk, I think. But yeah.
Before we continue, I just want to go ahead and I want to thank everybody else that has already stopped in. Bone,
Yeah.
Latino Slant, Slasher, McSplitter, my friend, how you doing? Nerd Cookies, always good to see you. Mikkel Jolyn. Who else we got in here today? Keck 44.
Angela Straven, Rennie.
Angela Straven. What's going on, buddy? Rennie A. Oh, she's awesome. Rennie A is awesome. She is one of the best upcoming mods. Her and McKinney 90. They are like the best upcoming mods. I may be able to retire my rent soon because of them.
Wow. I didn't think that was possible. Yeah, I'm so used to seeing you in 4 streams simultaneously wrenching like a mad person. But yeah. All right. Oh, Happy Dinosaur. Hey, buddy.
Yeah, man. Happy Dinosaur. It's good to see him around again. I mean, there was a little while where he was kind of gone. Stony One Kenobi. Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Wow. Good to see all of you. My goodness, this is great. But yeah, Rennie's like, really, that's great, and I agree. I mean, but you can uniquely connect with people here. I mean, and I've been happy to do stuff for the people I've connected with. That's the other thing too. Not only do you get a free exchange of ideas on a platform like this, which I'm grateful for, but you also get a chance to interact with other ways. If you know somebody you've met somebody on here that does good art, you could ask them politely to get you some art. So because maybe you don't have art skills, because I have zero, or you get cooperation between great creators. For example, on this side of me, that's author Stephen Walton, right? And an amazing creator named Dullified, right? He created this whole commercial based on Walton's Best Brew. Well, I copied just the image of the coffee container that he made, and I made my own salute to author Stephen Walton. And then at the same time, I know Tommy's doing the same thing. I mean, the collaboration here is unique. It's amazing.
I tell you, we all took it and ran with it in a different direction. But you know what? As far as Steven, I enjoy busting his chops like nobody else. I enjoy it immensely. But you know what? I consider Steven my friend. I actually have Steven's number. I know I can call him up and I can ask him questions anytime I want. Steven is really a great guy. I just enjoy busting his balls. I mean, it's amazing. He takes it in stride too, for the most part. There's been a few times he's actually questioned my sincerity of being his friend because of some of the things I've done on my videos. But yeah, you know what? There's going to be more coming soon. So I mean, hopefully he doesn't get too salty with me.
Hey, I see some Perry Chan style videos in Steven's future. I do. I do. But anyway, no, it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish as a group, and that's only because we've been able to form friendships, and I mean, it's been cool. I mean, I look, you built up a crew of people you communicate with on a regular basis. And I just flit from little group to little group, and I'm thankful every time I get to hang out with people. And I love to see people consistently, the same people in all of the chats that we interact with Bone and with Latino Slant and Ancient One and my Deviant Porg and Grobnob, all of these people. It's incredible. It's incredible. I love it. Love it much. So,
yeah, I mean, some of the people that I've actually met on here have actually surprised me at how, really good, not only good-hearted they are, but how much character that they had as well. I mean, you look at a lot of those people that we've got to know through, and I know you know what I'm talking about when you're talking about some of the people through the fourth wave. I mean, some of the people in there, the character that they have, and just the good-hearted nature that most of them have. Well, they will go out of their way for you if you ask them to. Me
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah,
I've always been the type of person that as long as you don't do anything to me, I will go out of my way for you. Up into what is physically possible, or time wise what is possible for me. I mean, there's of course, I would like to get around to everybody's channel like I used to be when I first started on this platform, because I was known as being the multiverse Tommy, and I was on 7, sometimes 8 different streams at once, and maybe modding up to 7 of them at once. Just can't really do that anymore. Even with my internet getting better, I cannot sit there and go through that many channels anymore. Try to get my own content done. And then maybe if I'm lucky enough to get invited on somebody's panel, or, what have you, I just don't have the time to sit there and mod for that many channels anymore and get around the way I used to. But I still try to make the rounds and get around to everybody who has been there for me too. And it's just simple things too. Like, they didn't have to mod me, but they took a certain amount of trust in me to be able to be a representative for their channel. I mean, there's a lot of people who say, "Oh, well, modding is nothing. It's just stupid. It's throwaway." But it's a form of friendship, really, if you look at it, because they're extending the olive branch to you, saying, "Hey, I trust you enough to be my friend here to help me out on my channel." That's the way I looked at it, and I always kind of took it seriously. That's not to say that I didn't bust people's balls in their own channels, because that's what I'm going to do. I can't help it. But at the same time, because they need me there to mod their chat, and when it's serious, I will get serious with the chat, and I will take care of the people that are just trolling them, or possibly putting some kind of comments in there that could actually get their channel in hot water. So,
yeah, no, I've always taken what the mods do quite seriously. And back before I even had a channel, I had, I have multiple Gmail accounts and, business accounts and stuff like that I used to watch everybody with. And I was always astounded at you and several others, because it seemed like whenever I would flip from one person to another, Tommy was still there wrenching. I don't know how you were doing it, but I'm getting the hang of being able to listen to 3 streams simultaneously and pay attention to them all. But boy, and I'm stuck in the same position you are. I've got so many great people that I support, but I always feel like I'm behind the 8 ball, because I'm not giving them my full attention. Tommy is Spanner because that was yeah. It does look right. Tommy, yeah, you need the wrench after the whole guinea pig collective thing. Absolutely, I agree with that.
it actually looked weirder when I just had Tommy, because that's all it was for the longest time. It was just Tommy. I mean, I added the rest on there because I had YouTube kind of semi-shadow banning me on certain channels, and then people were saying, "Oh, I can't find your channel. It's so hard to look just for your channel through Tommy, because it comes up with so many different hits." So I changed it to something unique that was going to be easier to find.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, did you see that super chat that Ancient One sent you? It was pretty awesome. It's up in the chat up there a little ways. Yeah, there it is.
A colossal size bag of premium carrots and premium lettuce for Tommy, the guinea pig, his wife, and the guinea pig pups, so they won't have to weep like crazy. Let me tell you something. The guinea pigs will wind up weakening like crazy regardless.
They do. They do. Yeah, they like to let you know when they need something, or they're happy, or yeah, pretty much all the time. They'll let you know. They'll let you know. Oh, guys. Oh, but yeah. So ultimately, I guess the course of this conversation is, I communicate with Tom from Midnight's Edge. I consider Tom a friend. I can communicate with a couple other people on here, Justin Proper. I communicate with Mary Mayhem. I consider them friends. I consider that Tug Life and Drunk 3PO. I consider them friends. Those are people I can reach out to. And then I have, a very, very good friend, a like-minded person that I would not have met in any other way, and that is Supreme Heretic Drew, who, we actually talk on the phone, from time to time. So it's when people say you cannot meet good quality human beings, they're wrong. And as you mentioned before, the character of these individuals that we come across is amazing. And I think some of that comes down to the fact that on this platform, in order to be taken seriously or to build anything. You have to be genuine. So, Latino Slant, man, good to, take care. Good to see you. Yeah.
Take care, bro. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah. I think that's true, though. I think that it's a requirement to be genuine, and I think that's also why some creators, and I'll mention the name Brie Larson, may not come across as genuine.
No, most definitely not. I mean, there's so much about her that just seems scripted right from the jump anyway. So, I mean, I sometimes wonder if all that stuff that she said when she was saying, I don't care what a 40-year-old white man has to say about her films, I wonder if that was just all handed to her. Like, that didn't really come from her, too. It kind of makes me wonder sometimes.
Well, just watching her, the very first video that she did, so I made a decision. That's going to be ingrained in my brain for bloody ever. She didn't make a decision. She was solicited to do what she did. So that wasn't a brainchild of hers. I mean, it wasn't that wasn't a thought that entered her head. So right from the very beginning, just in the title of her video, disingenuous. And you can't, I don't know how you recover from that. I mean, these people are professional pretenders, and some of them can be genuine human beings. I mean, Anthony Hopkins, genuine human being. But I don't, and those seem to be the exception and not the rule. And from everything that Nerdrotic says and other people from the industry, and Tom and Script Doctor and all these people, they say, they're 100% right. These people are not what you think they are, and many of them are not bright. So.
No, matter of fact, when you're talking about Tom from Midnight's Edge, I mean, me and Tom have only recently actually started to be able to converse a little bit. I mean, here and there. He's one of the people that I've watched for a long time. I mean, a lot of these people probably don't even realize how long I've actually been in the chats watching them and been around. Like, Mary Mayhem was another one. I was actually there when she first started her channel, when Jeremy from Geeks and Gamer was saying, hey, Mary Mayhem's going to be starting her own channel. Make sure you guys sub and check her out. And I remember that. I mean, most of those people probably don't even realize that I was in the chat back then just watching, because that's all I did. I mean, Steven likes to talk about, he was on the High Council and he was in the chat and that's where he was born. But, I was like, what's the phrase that Sith Lord 3827 likes to use? He likes to say a chat rat. I was a chat pig. So I was a chat pig at the time. But I mean,
in chats, it was because, Steven talks about it all the time, born in the chats. We're all born in the chats. I don't know anybody that just starts a YouTube channel without being where you guys are. Everybody that's watching us right now, that's where we all started. If you don't think you have a voice, someday you'll find it. Because I didn't think I had one, it was, but yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, you start out as a chat rat, as JJ would say. Anyway, sorry.
Problem is, people are used to YouTube. You could be genuine or do more scripted things. But when you fake, the genuine people see it. Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot fake, something to the point where people are not going to see it. You're either real or you're phony. And everybody that can actually sniff that kind of stuff out, whether it's right away or not, it's going to come out eventually. It's impossible to hide it forever. Like, you look at people like, and I'm going to throw a director in here just because I can't stand him. You look at J.J. Abrams. He talked about his love for Star Wars and how much he was a huge fan of it. You know what? He proved what a phony he was by the time he came around to doing Disney Star Wars, because where was the love? Where was the respect for everything that came before if you loved that franchise so much?
You can always tell. I think that as human beings, part of our conditioning as we grow up and as we develop further along in our interpersonal skills, you have to recognize by outward and outward signs and subtle things and cueing of another party whether or not they're being honest with you, whether or not genuine is another word that you used, or you have to be able to read those signs. There's something subtle in everything somebody does, so you have to be able to read that. Oh, and Rennie's gonna leave too. Bye, Rennie.
Rennie,
Bye,
take care. Thank you for coming by, sweetheart.
Yeah, we'll see you on John Talks maybe tonight. I hope late.
Oh,
Yeah.
CJH. What's going on,
Hey,
CJH?
hey.
Here's another guy. I mean, he actually started, and I remember when he first started his channel, and he was trying to get going, and he wasn't having a lot of luck getting traction. And then he had a series of unfortunate events with other YouTubers that kind of like got him to the point where he kind of like stepped away from it. I mean, for the most part, though, CJ, he's a pretty good guy. I mean, he just sometimes like people come across on the internet, they just don't come across the way that they're really trying to portray themselves. Because you can't, it's not always easy to portray exactly what you mean and exactly who you are over something like, especially like Twitter. I mean, it's just words. I mean, how much can you really convey what you mean in it when you're just typing words? So things can be taken askew and taken out of context. Other times, you never know. I mean,
I always feel like you can never convey context in text or a sentiment or tone. Tone is probably the more accurate word to use. I don't think it's easy to convey tone in text or in a letter or in anything else. I mean, you have to be very verbose to try to convey tone in a written word. So when I see somebody say something ridiculous on Twitter, it's my natural instinct used to be, I should say, to give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, I dismiss it most likely unless I have a history with someone. It's just so. But in person and in a situation like this where I can talk to people and they can hear my voice and they hear your voice and it's a little easier to understand where somebody's coming from. So you're 100% right.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you kind of take everybody with a grain of salt when you're first starting off until you kind of get to know them and you kind of get exactly what their quirks are. Because sometimes people have certain quirks where you might think that, well, this person's a jerk, and maybe they're not a jerk. Maybe it's just the way, they come off when they're talking or they're chatting, because some people just have a certain edge to them that a lot of people may not understand. Reina Creole, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you listening in. Thank you so much.
And I appreciate it too.
But I mean, there's been so many people that I first met, and like the way they come across at first, you might not fully understand them. I mean, some people might just wind up getting offended right off the jump. You question their motivations. Like, I'm sure that there's people right here in the chat right now that, like, if we didn't kind of know each other through all the interactions that we've had on YouTube and everything like that, if it was just like first time seeing each other in a chat, you might just look at me and see some of the things that I put in the chat, and oh, that guy's a real jackass. He's a jerk off. Well, yeah, I kind of am a bit in a way, but it's part of my personality. I mean, it's not that I'm like tremendously trying to put people down or, make people look like jerks. I'm just having fun. And you can't always get that right away unless you get to know somebody first.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to say, Bear just popped in. Hey, Bear, nerd fun.
Oh,
Bear.
Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah. JJ says hi. So that's yeah. No, you're right. And so so maybe CJH suffered from some of the perception issues that we all deal with from time to time. So but I, like I said, I mean, if you can sidestep some of this stuff, in develop some of these relationships with some of these great creators, you can do amazing things on this platform. And to me, the most amazing thing is meeting great people like you and making friends with people like you. It's been, I like I said in the chat, I've been blessed. I couldn't ask for more.
Well, like I've always said, I will be there for anybody and I will back them up. To a fault, I will be there behind them. Unless they turn around and they bite me like a few people have done. Yeah. Unless that happens, I will be behind you the whole way. And me and the entire guinea pig army will be behind you. And that's a big army.
Well,
That's a lot of missing
Well,
toes.
yeah, it's a lot.
But yeah, I mean,
I-
I've met incredible people like and you know like Happy Dinosaur, man. He's always so upbeat too. He's another one of those people that I've met over the past I want to say like 6-7 months or so. I want to say it's about that long. I mean, it might be a little longer, but I'm saying like 6 or 7 months. I mean, completely upbeat all the time, and
yeah.
he never really has anything really negative to say about anybody. I mean, not even when he's having a disagreement with somebody. I've seen him have a disagreement with somebody in a chat, and even then, he didn't get overly nasty with them. I mean, those are the kind of people that you want to be able to surround yourself with. And
Yeah.
I mean, quite honestly, I mean, yeah, like you're saying earlier, could you have met? I mean, how many people in your own state would you have never met otherwise if it wasn't for social media, let alone across the country or around the world? Like, I mean, there's so many people from around the world that I've met, like Rob Knob the Troll. I mean, I would have never met him otherwise. I would have never been able to converse with him or type to him and chat with him. Never. Not if it wasn't for platforms like this. Now, why these platforms definitely do have their problems, without them, would we have the reach that we have to be able to reach out and meet new people and form new friendships?
No, and we would also be subject to a lot of misinformation. I mean, and for as angry as I get at this platform or at Twitter or whatever for rampant censorship and things like that, I think that without this platform, we would have a lot more misinformed people because all we had is the mainstream media, and right now they have no interest in properly characterizing situations or even reporting the news. So I think we're miles ahead by having this platform, right?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, you know what? How many times have you actually seen an article? And I know there's the younger generation is a lot of the younger generation is guilty of this, where they just look on the internet, they see an article, and they run with the very first article that they found, whether it's true or not, because they refuse to put the time in to actually research it. Like, how many people come back to you and they say, "Hey, I seen this on Wikipedia." Well, hey, do you know that Wikipedia can be like pretty much overwritten by anybody? I mean, it's not a factual source of information. Like, if you're looking for some facts or you're looking for some real information, Wikipedia is probably the last place that you would want to go. But you get all these people in and you get all these different articles that are always posted. And if you don't have the friendships that you have online from people in different areas that have different experiences, and maybe they even have a little bit more knowledge about that certain subject, you wouldn't be able to find out, hey, well, this is bullshit. Or you might be able to, find out, well, some of this is true. Without all these different people that you've got to know all over the country and all over the world. I mean, it's an influx of information that otherwise was never there for most of us when we were younger. Like, I mean, like the idea to be able to just chat with somebody like across the country, even when I was younger, long distance phone call bills. Yeah, that was an outrageous idea because that was before cell phones.
I used my MCI card a lot. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, for the cost of whatever type of internet that you have, whatever form of access it takes, you can reach out to anybody in the world. I think it's unique and I think it's fantastic. So, and I have to say hi to my buddy Shellbach. Hey, buddy, Shellback.
Oh, Shellback. Always good to see you, Turtle.
I always say that Shellbach. It's like he's a composer or something. Ah, yeah, Shellbach. He's out there. But anyway, I'm weird.
Yeah, Shellback's another one of those good guys too. I mean, yeah, he's. I remember when I first met him, he had like this tiny little channel, and he only had a few vids on it. And since then, he's kind of come out of his shell, if you will, and he's actually created a bunch more content. And I mean, like he just did that review of Steven's book, like he did like the first chapter about Comicsgate.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Or no, it wasn't Comicsgate. Gamergate.
Yeah, Gamergate. But, he's holding the book up with a hot pad. I was like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, just humor. It's just so great. And if you guys just so you know, we watch as many people that are here. We watch as many of your videos as we can, or at least I can speak for myself, but I know for sure Tommy does too. But I I forego sleep sometimes so I can try to keep up with everybody. So.
Yeah, I know some people actually talk about, hey, just like throw on my channel and let it run through the playlist. Myself, I don't do that because I actually want to see their content and I want to hear what they have to say myself. So I take the approach where I take it one video at a time. So unfortunately, some people may be upset about that because, oh, well, how come you ain't watching all my videos? Believe me, I'm trying to get around to as many people as I can, but there's only so much time in the day, and I only have so much time to be able to do stuff for myself as well. So, I mean, it's not that I'm ducking people or avoiding people. I'm trying to get around to people the best that I can. And I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that stop by my channel, and man, I always thank them because I am always so thankful for all the same people that always seem to be able to come by, you know, day after day, week after week, whatever it is, and they always just have the time to be able to stop by and leave comments on my video. I mean, that kind of shit is amazing to me. I mean, quite honestly, because that interaction is what actually got me to the point where I wanted to create more content on the channel, because I was like, man, I get to interact with people I've never talked to before, or people from like across the globe. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing to me.
To me, it's an inspiration. It feeds that desire to create more content. I mean, the more views that I get on a video, the more I'm like, okay, well, how can I redo that again? You know, and there's a certain sense of joy, you know, and satisfaction that comes out of that. And a lot of people would probably call that narcissism. Yeah, I know he just composed that. He's making fun of me, which is fine. Yeah, dude, I don't know. We're so blessed right now to be able to communicate this way. In real-time feedback in the chat like we have right now, or even in the comments of a video. But when it comes to watching somebody's live streams, you know, I try to watch those in real time. So for example, Sporky News Podcast, Scott, one of my favorite people in the whole world, who I also consider a friend. And he's got all of his live streams reposted, and I've seen most of them because I tune into his book club and his Game of Thrones stuff and you guys can see me there chatting with him or whatever. And so I will rerun all those videos just to try to build his watch time, because he deserves it. The guy deserves to be monetized. He's producing quality content constantly. He is the nicest human being in the world for the most part. You know,
he's another one. He's another one. He can absolutely take a joke too.
Oh yeah, he's fun to poke fun at, and the interactions between him and Steven are just priceless. It's beautiful. I love when you watch the Fourth Wave, folks. You know, the TR4 plus final or whatever the shows. They you guys really need to work on your show names, because you know you got like 27 people in that thing, so, you know, all the time. Or BearBear Nerd Fun. Same thing, man. If you watch the Four Horsemen at night or whatever else, I mean, there's some great content, and I love, like I said, I love to grind on people's videos so that they get the watch time that they need. But I understand where you're coming from, because I want to know what, you know, everybody's doing. Which again, like I said, I'll forego sleep to watch some of your guys' stuff. So.
You know what, and there is always a downside to the social media aspect, and Grobnob, you know, he's hit it right there on the head. When creators go to war with each other and form groups and gangs like school children squabbling, I've actually seen that more than a few times. And like, I get around to like so many different groups. I mean, I get around to the Comic Skate guys. I was actually at one time, I was going around to even like the Gray Order guys, which a lot of people, if they're the Phantom Menace or they carry the hashtag the Phantom Menace, or if they were Fourth Wave, or a lot of these other groups that are, you know, Phantom Menace aligned, they couldn't stand people in the Gray Order. Well, at one time I was getting around to them until they actually burned me. And they burned me with their ignorant ass comments. And I was like, yeah, well, screw you. I'm done with you people. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And it's as simple as that. I don't have to waste my time with them. So instead of sitting there squabbling with them constantly, I just avoid them for the most part. Now, of course, there's always going to be a few individuals that actually just want to keep like poking the bear, as it were. And they want to agitate you. And for those people, you know what? I've made my memes about you people. And if you want to keep irritating me, I will make more memes about you people. and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to waste my time going into your chats or going into somebody else's chats and poking fun of you. I'm just going to make memes and laugh at you, because that's going to be my best way of handling it.
Oh yeah, Bear. I know the late edition and the Four Horsemen. That's correct. Yeah, no, I'm bad with that stuff. But yeah, and I would never poke Bear. Bear's kind of Bear can be scary. I would never poke the bear.
Oh, absolutely, Happy. Absolutely. I mean, I feel the same way.
Oh yeah, dude, and Happy Dinosaur. I mean, I don't know how many different Twitter handles Happy Dinosaur has now, but I try to say Happy Day to Happy Dinosaur, a couple times a week. So,
Well, he
um,
had some issues with some of his
oh
Twitter
yeah,
handles, so
yeah, yeah. Bear, I'm terrible. I'm representing you poorly. I should be punished. I apologize. I take responsibility, as John Talks would say. I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for being a guinea pig that's hated on YouTube.
And I don't pay out money. My casino only pays out, and my thoughts about pop culture, and how we can improve it or save it or keep it afloat. That's what you get out of my casino.
What you need to do is you need to make yourself some wooden nickels with Culture Casino on it, so you can pay out in Culture Casino wooden nickels.
That would be awesome. Yeah, the opportunity for some Teespring stuff or something like that. I mean, and maybe I should go the nerdrotic way and just make my own gear, and just distribute it that way. But I've used my logo and some stuff that was done for me, on various pieces of merch, and I've never opened up my store, but uh at some point I'll throw merchandise out there. I just can't imagine anybody buying any crap with my freaking mug on it. So
Now, what do you think of that
oh,
one?
Bear, you are not the butt of the joke, man. You're one of my favorite dudes. Plus, in real life, Bear and I are trying to figure out. We know we cross paths, like in real life, for a while. So it's hard to. I'm still working on it. So I'm still every once in a while I go to the storage unit and dig out one of the photo albums. So I'll figure it out someday. But anyway. Oh yeah, Makini 90. Incredible art. I bought one of his shirts. Have you seen some of the stuff that he did? Like I bought his Merry Mayhem shirt. It's
Oh
freaking cool.
yeah. I was plugging his channel quite a bit on John Talks and a few other channels. Yeah, I've seen what he's done. He does some really amazing stuff. I haven't had the chance to get around to checking out his channel yet, but I did check out his artwork.
Oh, he did a time lapse video. It's really really cool, and I love those. I hope he doesn't get knocked for his music, but I loved it. It was really awesome. Any of those time lapse from anybody that can do that art, because art always amazes me, and because I can't do it. I can make a thumbnail. I can manipulate graphics. I can do videos. I can do this kind of dumb shit, but I cannot. I can't create art. I don't know how you do it. And to me, you're like magicians. So I'll support you.
Yeah, it's some of the things that some of these people are doing that I've met over the past, year that I've actually had the channel, because I've actually been on YouTube a lot longer than a year. Geez, I mean, I think it's been over 2 years that I've actually, been on YouTube, but like watching and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I started my channel, I want to say it was back in March of last year. I want to say it was. I want to say it
Wow.
was like March. Yeah, March or April at the latest, I think. Somewhere around there. And yeah, when I first started off, I had no clue what I was going to do, but there was a few things I knew I wanted to talk about, because at the time I was still playing World of Warcraft. And I had made friends once again over the internet with people on the game that I always played with in this one guild. And we wound up, contacting each other through like Facebook and everything like that. And then we wound up getting headsets, and we'd actually like legitimately talk with each other in the game all the time. I mean, you're going to tell me that that wasn't like a friendship too? I mean, like really? Like some of these people,
Well,
I just don't understand where their thoughts are when they say these kind of things. I mean, are they really just that sad and that lonely that they can't have any real friends that they got to say stuff like that?
well, here's the thing. I can tell you that even before YouTube, even before, right about the time that Twitter launched, back when Twitter was pretty cool and it was mostly full of free thinking human beings, there was this really cool MMORPG game that came out. It was called World of Warcraft. And I formed a guild with a bunch of people who were friends and family. And all of a sudden I had an extended family. And those people that joined our clan, our guild, whatever you want to call it, many of them I met in real life, had developed real relationships with, had them, stay with me on vacation, stayed with them on trips and stuff like that. These are real, genuine people that you become friends with. And that was through a stupid video game. And that's when you say you can't form friendships in these ways, it just displays a certain amount of ignorance, or maybe a lack of ability to develop interpersonal communication with someone else. Because if you have genuine communication with someone, you're more likely to be friendly than not.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Let me see. Trying to do something else here. Always in the middle of something else. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Bear sent you a Twittery.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was trying to get to. That's what I was trying to get to.
Shellback wants me to make a shirt with a slot machine with my face on the 3 tumblers, and it's paying out. I think that'd be a really cool shirt. So I will be making that shirt. So thank you, Shellback. You're a brilliant human. So, and I'm working on something for Shellback right now. Hopefully I can get it done tomorrow.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, something he needs.
No, look at that. Angela's Draven. My channel has been around with content since 07-ish because I would upload my projects from school.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Well, and Angela's, I don't know if anybody knows this out there, and Drunk likes to talk about it too. And I'm going to overstate it just like he does. Angelus was a backyard wrestler. One of those guys that made videos about backyard wrestling.
Yeah, Angela said the same thing. I met a few folks playing WoW from our guild.
Yeah. I mean, I have people I call and talk to on the holidays, and I talk to them on their birthdays and everything else. And yeah, John Talks has been one of the greatest incubators. John Talks, Jeff with World Class, Nerdrotic, Doomcock, of course. But I mean, think about the incubation from these people, these genuine human beings that you can talk to, that interact with you through the chat and various other forms. Yeah, I mean, they've been the incubators for this giant community now, and we continue to grow on a daily basis. In fact, I think we're coming to the end of the 4th wave, as Stephen describes it, and I think we'll be rolling right into a 5th wave of people that they become disenfranchised with because of what's happening to pop culture, et cetera, et cetera. So there you are. So, oh wow, is Latino Slant still here or back? I can't see.
I think he's back.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, sorry, Latino Slant's another really good guy. He actually, he's another one of those people actually helped me out when I was actually having the problems and I had all the stuff up on eBay. And I mean, it was really cool that he helped me out. But then he turned around and he actually did a video about the purchase that he got off me, and he was talking about it on screen and everything. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I mean. Once again, people that I would have never been able to meet to actually, be able to help me out if it wasn't for this platform. For all the faults that the platform has, it still gives you that opportunity to be able to meet people and form friendships and bonds with people because of the immense reach that social media and social media platforms such as YouTube actually have.
Yeah. It's so let's just put it this way. The people who understate the ability to develop relationships through these types of platforms, there must be something wrong with them. Let's just put it that way. Or let's characterize it that way. Okay? Because I think that's fair. I mean, even the people who communicate in the chats, they develop relationships. They end up following each other on, YouTube or on the annoying Twitter thing or whatever. They follow each other on Instagram. You develop relationships with people because you can interact with them, and they can be good relationships or bad relationships, but you can develop some great relationships, in my opinion.
No, yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, it's just a shame that some people are just so negative that they can't see that. They're living in a transparent steel or transparent aluminum cage where they just can't see out those windows really, though, for some reason. They can't see that there's something beyond their limited scope of imagining, you know? And it's a shame. It really is a shame. I mean, because you look at like some of the old movies, like people will talk about, oh, well, those old movies don't mean anything. And this kind of falls in line with the same idea that you can't make friends on a social media platform because it doesn't mean anything. So it's the same thing with movies. Like, I mean, how many movies have actually like forged people's ideals and their personalities and how they want to go through life, you know, what type of person they want to be. Would they have been the exact same person if it wasn't for some of these amazing tales from their childhood in these movies or maybe comic books or shows or whatever that actually gave them inspiration? Like, hey, I want to be just like that when I grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Well, and here's something weird, and this is going to be slightly different than what you were saying, but I have gone out of my way to describe some of the weird crap that happened in my life for fun. Just I share it out in public all the time, and what's interesting to me is that people can relate to that. They've had similar experiences, or they appreciate the fact that I'm willing to share stuff about myself. And again, that brings you closer to somebody else. It brings you to the point of a mutual understanding between people. And if we had more of that, we would have less conflict, you know, and we would focus less on whether or not somebody was using pronouns or any of the other garbage that goes along with, you know, social media today.
I mean, it used to be a thing where you could just actually, if you treated somebody with respect, they would treat you with respect back. You didn't have to worry about, okay, well, she's a he, she, him, that, they, whatever, you know, nonsense, you know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, whatever, that kind of garbage. You didn't have to worry about that. If somebody was gay, somebody was gay. Who cares? You know what? It is, as long as they respected you and you respected them, there would never be an issue until this certain shift in societal way of thinking where now all of a sudden it's a problem, you know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. And Jen's put in the chat there that this conversation is turning good. He-Man was my role model. Yeah, that's the thing, you know. It didn't matter what your particular gender was. It didn't matter what your identification was. It didn't matter anything. You could identify. You didn't have to necessarily identify with someone to have a hero or a role model. I could not play basketball like Michael Jordan, role model. You know, I couldn't throw you know, a football like Joe Montana, role model. You know, I could not act like Edward James Olmos, role model. You know, I'm in these role models look nothing like me. They don't talk like me. They are role models, and you can identify with someone that is not yourself, that has nothing to do with you. And not only that, you can make friends with those people. I never in my I've never had to qualify myself by utilizing my friendships ever. And now sometimes in defense, you put in a situation where sometimes you feel like you should do that. I try not to, but I see people doing that, and it's a shame. You know, you shouldn't have to say, well, I have, you know, a gay friend. I have, you know, a transgender friend. I have this and that and the other thing, you know, trying to, you know, put on armor from somebody that's attacking you based on things that they couldn't possibly know.
To me, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I swear when people do stuff like that, when they say, hey, I got a gay friend or I got a transgender friend, I swear it's almost like they're collecting badges so they could show them off like they're a Cub Scout or something.
Yeah, it's hard. That's the problem, is it's hard not to get caught up in that. I can imagine. I mean, you know, you know, people don't know. I mean, for as much as I know about you, Tommy, and for as much as people know about me, the people that I'm close to, and you know, over time, I'm sure there will be a lot more about me revealed to the world. But you know, nobody could possibly know what my previous life experience was. And again, that's why I, you know, every once in a while, like last night on Wes's stream, I'll reveal a tiny little bit of my own personality or experience so that people know where I'm coming from. So anyway, it's just hard. Life is hard right now, you know, in different ways than it ever was before. And some of that is because we don't have actual real hardships foisted upon us. because life got a little more comfortable, not just for us here in the States, but pretty much worldwide. And don't let anybody fool you. We're not terribly more privileged than any other nation. We are vastly better than most nations, but we're not quote unquote privileged. Anyway, blah 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 blah.
No, no, there was some good points though.
Eh,
Yeah. The Phantom Menace doesn't care about the color of skin or sexuality. The hate comes from the
no,
outside.
it
And
does.
then, a lot of times it does. I mean, I'm not going to say that there isn't some bad eggs, if you will, in the Phantom Menace that don't actually go out of their way to start shit. And they actually paint a bad picture of all the people that are trying to do good for the fan base. There's a
Yeah.
few of them out there. I mean, but you know what? You're going to get that no matter what group you're a part of or what people that you associate with. There's always going to be a few in all those different
Mm.
gatherings of people where you're going to have a few that are just there to start trouble. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Well,
it's impossible
and
to
then,
avoid.
well, and even every group gets in. It seems to get infiltrated by somebody that's just a rabble rouser, you know. But here's the thing: true hatred comes from within. It starts within the other person that's directing it outward, and that's a them issue. It's not a you issue. Anyway,
Yeah, most of the time they can't stand themselves and they just feel the need to attack everybody else. And these are the same people that tell you you can't make friendships on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or wherever else. I mean, maybe you still have MySpace. I don't know. I'm not judging.
is that still a thing? Anyway,
Well, technically it's still up. You can view it, but it's not like active anymore, as far as I know. I don't think you can message anybody anymore. I think you just view stuff on it.
that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. And we don't, and Shellback makes a good point. We don't have to agree with each other's lifestyles. We don't have to agree with, or anybody's day to day action. You can, that's the other beautiful thing about this group is you get taken as you are, if you have pronouns, just understand there are people in the group that may not enjoy pronouns, but you'll still get accepted. You still have a voice within the Fandom Menace, or even if you don't identify as Fandom Menace. That's the other cool thing. There's people like Lethal Lightning who, cool dude. Um, he's not Fandom Menace. He actually says, regularly that he's not Fandom Menace, but he's accepted within our collective group of people. And again, it's not like this is a club. I mean, there's no sign up sheet. We don't have a clubhouse. It is what it is. But back to the original point is I still made all these great friends, and I'm very thankful for all of you. And and on a daily basis I try to reinforce my friendship with others. And hopefully I do a good job. And if I'm falling down and I'm not representing you well as a friend, you need to let me know. Because I take that stuff serious.
I mean, there's a few people that actually say, like, isn't it nerdrotic that says, be good to each other?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so does Jeff the world class ends every stream with the quote from be excellent to each other.
Yeah, from Bill and Ted's.
Bill and Ted. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome quote to be able to use. I mean, it's just a shame that more people can't see that. I mean, that it's an amazing opportunity that we all have being on these platforms, whether it's an even shit ass twatter, for as much as everybody derides it. And it is garbage. And it's mostly because of the people that are on there, because they're just there to start trouble. But there's still a lot of people that you can interconnect with through that platform that you otherwise wouldn't be able to if you didn't have any other form of social media. So there's still an opportunity between all these different platforms, on whether it's YouTube, whether it's BitChute, whether it's Twitter, even Facebook, Twitch. There's a tremendous opportunity to be able to reach out and create new friendships and meet new people that you otherwise would have never been able to meet. And you got to really be able to just take all that in stride and not let it go for granted.
Yeah.
It's really there for you to grab and just take hold of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I mean, I'm making friends every day. I'm getting to know Makini 90 really well. I'm streaming with him 3 times a week sometimes, and it's great. Yeah, CJH, that's a beautiful sentiment. Happy streams. Absolutely. And this, I think this is one of the reasons Tommy put this one together. And this is why we're talking about this, is because there's so much good that comes out of just talking to people here on this platform. It's beautiful, and not in a superficial way, or not in a made up way like we saw on, a particular, brand new to YouTube, starlet that Hollywood's trying to push. And Lorena, thanks for hanging out with us. You're awesome.
Take care, Lorena. Thank you so much for coming by. Oh, Karen Prime is here too.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. You guys are just flipping around. This is great. The Phantom Menace and their ilk, I think of as a therapy group. Thank you, Keck. Yes, very much so. It makes you realize that you are not going mad. I think that's why I think that's why I made my first video, is because I'm like, look, there's a bunch of people who are feeling crazy, and they're trying to reassure everybody else that, it's the rest of the world that's crazy. And you know what? They are.
And see, yeah, that's the thing, Angela Straven. Just because you're not part of the group doesn't mean that you can't have people that you consider, if not friends, at least good associates, or not, just being able to associate with them, because you might create a friendship with some of them. You don't have to be part of that group to do it. I myself, I have a lot of friends that are the Phantom Menace, and I've actually been called the moderator of the Phantom Menace at some points. I myself have never once carried the hashtag of the Phantom Menace. Not once. I've always carried the hashtag of the Guinea Pig Menace, because I wanted to be my own distinct menace.
You live up to that for sure. But no, and I throw the hashtag on nearly everything. And you know what? It's because I feel it. I feel like, look, this is the only way to defend pop culture, is to speak out about it and to bring as much attention to it as possible. So, anyway, so this is a brilliant idea, Tommy. We need to do more streams like this. This was beautiful.
Well, I just really thought that this was something important that just actually needed to be said, and not enough people, I think, are actually talking about this. Like, all the positivity that you can get off of this platform that is available to everybody. It's right there at your fingertips to be able to reach out, to interact with people that you otherwise never would have met before, and create some kind of friendships and bonds that could last for as long as you keep in touch with them. Technically, you don't even have to keep in touch with them, because how many times maybe, like, okay, on World of Warcraft, for example, maybe you were hanging out and playing with some people at one point, and then you didn't talk to them again in game for a year or better because they quit playing. And then one day they just showed up and it's like, hey man, how's it going? I haven't seen you forever. And you just start up a conversation with them right then and there. It doesn't have to end,
Yeah.
Matt's Mama Bear. Hello there.
Yeah, I was throwing hail in the chat there. There we go. Hello. Yeah, no, you're right. In absent friends, you still want, and absent can mean, people who, have drifted away, or absent friends can mean the people who've passed away. But absent friends, you think of fondly regardless. And like I said, I've made, even if I don't make another video, or even if I become incapacitated in whatever way tomorrow or today, I still will have been thankful for the opportunities that I had to hang out with the people that I met here, and to develop friendships with the folks that I have here. Because think about it, I get to stream with you guys, the people I consider friends. I get to stream with you guys all the time. It's the coolest thing. And I get to make new friends almost daily. It's great. I know it seems like that's superficial, or maybe I'm using the term friend very loosely, but I'm not. If I consider you my friend, it means I think I can reach out to you and get support, or vice versa. If you need something, I'm sure you should feel comfortable to reach out and get support. So, and yeah, this is a platform that can do that. And then I have the incredible acquaintances that I develop in the chat, and and the people that, they're only there to listen to what I have to say. And that's the extent of it, but I'm thankful for them too. Every single day, every single video. So, and you know what? I'm not Comicsgate, but I've backed books for Comicsgate. I'm not. I buy people's stuff all the time because I think it's great, not because I have a particular affiliation. And guess what? I do that in every aspect of my life. So I just get access to more stuff now because of this platform. That's the other thing. think about the fact that there's more merchandise available than you thought imaginable. People are constantly making it, and I'm thankful for them because there's so little that's palatable out in the world right now, and people are still making palatable things. You just didn't know they were there. So I'm thankful.
Honestly, if you think about like all the stuff that the people in Comicsgate did, like once the comic industry started kind of like falling apart a bit, and people were just not getting the type of entertainment out of the comic book industry that they used to get before, and they started looking for other ways to find that entertainment. And these guys with their Comicsgate started up. Would they have made the impact with it if they didn't have this platform to be able to promote it? If it wasn't for people like EVS promoting, would it have happened the way that it did?
Well, I think EVS was the whole reason that they were able to explode, because he developed the platform and then the cross promotion that he was able to do. I mean, my goodness, what a brilliant stroke right there. And you know what? Nerdrotic says that regularly, how brilliant that was to create a platform to advertise, to promote, and not just himself but others. I mean, hail Caesar.
Yeah, I used to watch. He was another person I used to watch a lot when I first started watching YouTube, and yeah, he had a voice for it, and his voice has definitely gotten bigger since when he first started. Obviously, over time, everybody's voice does,
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, hey, you get better at this. I mean, that's the other thing. And you never know. You can start in a position where I did, where I had no zero experience doing YouTube at all, and you'll find yourself learning how to pace yourself better. You'll find how to ignore the stream brain that happens when you lose your mind and you can't remember what you were trying to say. You know what that is. I mean, you'll be talking and then it's gone. And then but we don't actually have to look for topics. There's a billion things to talk about. I like to do the business analysis side of stuff. I like to talk about my thoughts when it comes to why I think a lot of these entertainment companies are going to start to turn the wheel, regardless of what happens in the election, which I think is kind of the point at which they feel is the last point for them to tip the cart the other direction. But I think they're going to have to. I think we're going to start to see what we were hoping for and was already starting to happen prior to this, the sickness. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Yeah. But
sorry. Anyway, like I said, this is a brilliant idea, and I appreciate it, Tommy. And I'm so thankful that you consider me a friend, because I've considered
you. Dude,
you
absolutely. When you first came in, and the first time I actually seen you, and I remember, and it was on Teresa Martin's channel, and I was getting to know you, the Revenite, Xavius, and AFK Bard.
Yeah.
I was getting to know all you people from that platform. Now, I had already known Teresa before that, in passing on different channels and everything like that. Yeah. But yeah, I started to get to know all you guys better, and then you wound up coming into the fourth wave too, and started collaborating more with everybody there, and I got to know you a little bit better. And I'm sure over time I'm going to get to know you even better next. I mean, you're a hell of a guy, and I'm proud to be able to say you're a friend of mine, along with a lot of the other people that are in the chat. Ancient One, Latino Slant, McKinney 90, Shellback. I know it's McKinney. I'd like to say McKinney just to agitate you every once in a while. Mad's Mama Bear.
Doesn't bother him.
Shellback. There's so many great people. The CJH, Bear. I mean, all these people that actually have your back. Happy Dinosaur. My buddy Slasher McSplitter, who I actually do my Monday streams with, Reina Creole, who's nice to everybody. I mean, I've hardly ever seen her not nice to somebody. I'm sure there's been a few times where somebody's agitated. Chaos Hoy. This guy is always showing up for me. Amazing. He's always, he's always positive too. Jens Peter. Yeah. I mean, Jens Peter's an awesome guy from across the pond.
Your chat's amazing, and when it's so great. I get the opportunity to go stream with you and other people, and I'm just amazing. There's a lot of crossover in the chat because we appeal to the same audience, and but I go into Wes's chat and I get some great people in those chats, and I'm appreciative for them every time. And speaking of the bear,
you there, Bear?
Yeah, it'll help if I turn the power source onto my mic.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, I looked
well
down
made.
and my power source to my mic, I've got it taped to a bucket, and it's got one of those really bright little tiny blue lights that indicates the power's on, and it points straight down. So I don't see a blue glow down there. Like, yep, got to turn that on. It really helps.
I, I like saying bikini like bikini too.
Yeah. And it doesn't bother McKinney terribly much or Makini.
I know it's Machini 90. I know what it is. I just like saying Makini every once in a while. It's so much fun because I heard everybody else say it for so long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it took me a minute or two to get the pronunciation, Makini.
Makini. I like it. It's cool. I mean, just talk about an original for sure. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I cannot wait to see more art from Makini. It is awesome, and I get a chance to stream with Makini tomorrow. We're doing the Four Guys gaming stream tomorrow, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
So, how do I sound?
You sound fantastic, dude. You sound great.
I'm using a VPN.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Nope.
Yeah, I saw
Nope.
you looking at.
I have a Vast. I have a premium
Mhm,
Vast security,
mhm.
and they offered me a year for like $37, and 5 devices.
Wow,
Not
wow,
just 5 devices, 5 PCs and 5 mobile devices.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so you pretty much can
so
cover
I
everything.
have it. Yeah, so I sent it. My mom's been having problems on her phone by getting spam, and so I signed up with it and I sent her a link and the code for it. And I did a small test stream to see how I sounded the other day. A 2 minute test stream, and I went back and listened to it. I'm like, yeah. And basically, the reason why I did it was so that way I don't get throttled. Because
Yeah,
when you talk about certain subject matter, you get throttled, shadow ban, stuff like that. And so that's the reason why I got so that way my because internet providers, they're very very intrusive. They watch everything that you do because it's just the the nature of that particular animal. And so I got the VPN and figure, well, I'll check it out. I keep hearing people talking about it and all that. And there is a setting specifically for streaming. It's called Gotham City.
hmm,
It's one of the locations that you can connect to on the VPN, and it's specifically
cool.
for streaming, live streaming.
So it helps with your upload speed. Well, the neat thing about the
Well,
VPNs is it creates
here's here's
priority
here's
traffic, right?
here's the thing. I don't hardly ever upload on my computer. I rendered a 4K video that was about 2.5 minutes long, and it literally took like 3 minutes for it to render on my phone.
Hmm.
I rendered an HD 1020p, and there was a 15-minute video I did, and it only took like 5 minutes.
Yeah, the Snapdragon processors are really fast. But they're I mean they catered more towards graphical than anything else. So I guess that makes sense. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, because I got the Galaxy S10 active, and it's got an octa-core.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
from what I've
Amazing.
read and learned about the octa-core is each core behaves like it's four. I don't exactly understand how exactly it works, but compared to regular 8 core, it's lightning fast.
It's got to be threading. It's got to be threading and the cache to the memory. That's got to be what it is.
Yeah, because
So just
it's
the
it's
ability to.
insanely fast. I upload basically a 15-minute long video will upload in less than 10 minutes on my phone. And yes, you can do it with the browser. If you use the app, it will limit you to 2 hashtags. That's why I don't use the app. So I use Chrome, and since they updated the uploading system, since they got rid of the legacy one, which I'm freaking pissed about. There was nothing wrong with it. It worked just fine. And
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to get rid of it. So basically, I have to tap on the little select button on the screen like 3 or 4 times before the folder selection pops up. And when I first tried to use it after they updated it and got rid of the legacy, because I would use the legacy and bypass that until I couldn't no more, and then I'd have to like 40 times I'm touching the damn thing, select, not popping up, man, driving me freaking nuts. And after the 40th time, the thing popped up. I'm like, oh, imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very thankful. Like Tommy and I were talking about the fact that before the stream that I'm able to write off my my business internet because I run a couple businesses, out of the household. So it makes uploading so much easier because if I tried to do it before, it was too slow. So I know where you're coming from, but VPNs do prioritize traffic. So it doesn't surprise me that you're getting phenomenal results, especially with your voice, dude. Sounds amazing. I was told
because music.
I was told you were doing music.
Yeah, definitely doing music. I've had delay issues too, and it seems like the delay is not as bad with the VPN.
Hey, I'm not creative. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I need to step away and take care of my little heart patient little buddy here. So I just want to say thank you, Tommy, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh no, absolutely. Thanks for dropping on. I'm actually not going to be running much longer because I actually got a few things I got to do outside of this stream. So I mean, I've already actually run it. I ran it like 16 minutes already, more than I was planning on originally. Because originally I was going to cut it at 5, but.
Well, Bear,
I'm going to chat with Bear for a little bit before I cut it.
Culture, before you run off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know if you noticed the chat, but I was working on one song for like 5 days, and
Really?
it wasn't the vocals that I was having a hard time with. It was the actual instrumental track. I was dealing with really weird distortion from it, and so what I was having problems with is the vocal levels meshing really good with the instrumental, and the instrumental just being kind of distorted. And I've been having I made 4 different versions, not happy with any of them, and then finally got to a version that I actually liked, and one of them didn't have a lot of hiss, but it wasn't my most favorite. So this last one I uploaded, it's got some hiss, not real bad, but it's got some. And,
I've been running everything that I do processor on the way in so that it knocks the hiss down. But like you, I mean, in order to pull any hiss out, I'm trying to use Audacity to do that. And but I'm laying in multiple tracks sometimes on Audacity, and then so that the mix down hopefully will cover some of that. But
what I've discovered works real good? I discovered a program called InTrack Studio 9.
Okay.
And actually it works halfway decent. It's a little bit more dumbed down version of Audacity. Because I actually have a trial version of Audacity I've been using as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna check this out. Yeah, because
I've got Audacity.
Really cool.
I've got InTrack Studio 9, and there's another one that I got besides the MixPad that I found. It's Multitrack Studio.
Yep.
Multitrack Studio. What's really weird about that one is once you open it, any playback device, any device that uses your mic, it will hog it all. You will not be able to use StreamYard while you use Multitrack Studio. You will not be able to play anything through any of the playing software because it completely and totally hogs it. So when you're working,
Mikel Jolin. No,
Hey.
I don't need the mod on 56 channels. No, I don't.
so basically, when you use Multi-Track Studio, and what's really nice is it's free, and it's not bad, man. It's not bad for a free version. And I do believe that the N-Track Studio 9 is free as well. I think. I can't even
I'm
remember where
looking
I
at it
got
right now.
from.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I went there right away, Bear. So I'll definitely check that out. But like I said, I'm gonna go take care of my little bud. It was good to be here, guys. And Bear, I miss you. We'll hook up again soon and do some stuff. And
Indeed.
other than that, thanks. You guys take care. Everybody in the chat, thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. And take care of my buddy Tommy. Have a good day, guys.
Take care, Culture. Yeah, man. I'm only going to run it for about another like 4 minutes or so because,
Sure.
yeah, I got other things I got to do. That's why I was kind of hoping you were going to pop in a little sooner. But it is what it is, man. At least
I was waiting on a little bit of lunch, and I just said, "Hell with it, I'm gonna pop on." Got tired of waiting, and then when I popped on, lunch came.
Yeah,
Hey,
so I mean, the big thing we were talking about earlier, I don't know if you caught any of it, but we were talking about like the friendships that people have actually made on this platform and how you got the naysayers that say you never can, that it's impossible.
Oh man, we've got almost damn near a family atmosphere, man, when it comes to all our friendships and the way we roll, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how many people like just in certain like, group chats that you're a part of where everybody's got each other's back. If somebody's having problems, somebody's willing to step in to help them out any way that they can, whether it's just reposting a link or giving them advice or, bringing them on to like somebody like so many people have done for me when I was having problems with my mortgage rate. They bring me on and say, hey, go ahead, plug your eBay and plug your PayPal so you can get the help that you need, through their platform. I can't say enough about how much I appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, where in a fandom I don't know of any fandom where someone that had a disagreement and will still donate money when they're down on hard times. You know what I'm saying? How many people are like that?
Not many.
No.
Keck 44, you have a good one, buddy. Thank you for coming by.
Because there's been a couple people that I had disagreements with, but I seen when they were down on hard times, man. I didn't think about that, man. I thought, hey, man, need help? I'm gonna do what I can. That's just the way I am. That's the way I roll.
Oh, and versus the game, thank you for coming by. But yeah, CJ, we are all family.
Yeah. We have our arguments, we have our disagreements, and a lot of times we bounce back from that.
I mean, and it's not to say that there isn't a lot of strong personalities within all these different groups. I mean, there's a lot of strong personalities just in the group that we're part of, Mm-hmm. So does that mean that, we're always going to see eye to eye on every single thing? Probably not, but we can work around it. We can find a way to work around it. And I think a lot of these other groups that are sitting there saying you can't have any kind of friendships on YouTube, they just don't know how to be able to interact with people and see past things that they don't agree with. They just see something they don't agree with, and then they got to start running the bashing and the blame game. And that's all they can do because they don't have nothing else. Their lives are that devoid of meaning that that's all they have is to be able to run down everybody else and their thoughts on something that, I made this really cool friendship on YouTube. You can't make a friendship on YouTube. It don't exist. It's not real. It's because they're that devoid of any kind of like real like sense of friendship or family or anything in their own lives.
They lack depth in what they can imagine and what they think they can accomplish.
Oh, most definitely. And a lot of that starts with a depth of character.
And that's putting it nicely.
And it's a shame. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to start wrapping out. Mods, please remember to post Culture Casino's link also in the chat again, if you can, please. Thank you so much for doing what you guys do. Ancient One and Rennie was here earlier. I mean, I know Mads is a mod now too, and I actually missed that earlier. And thank you, Ancient One, for letting me know that I forgot to mod her so she can drop links or talk to everybody in the chat and watch everything. But everybody that's come by, I'm Not Creative versus the game, Ancient One, CJH, Bone, Keck 44, Macany 90. That's right. I'm going to say it right for you that time. I mean, Culture Casino for coming by and being on the panel. Bear for you being here. Mikkel Jolin, Angela Straven, everybody that's come by. Shellback, all of you. Lorena that came by earlier. Karen Prime, thank you all so much for coming by. It really does mean a lot every time you guys come by, and I truly do appreciate the time that you are spending here on this channel with the most hated guinea pig on YouTube.
Hey,
Bear, I was going to say, do you want to let them know about anything you got coming up?
Sure. I just wanted to address one of the comments. I'm Not Creative 22. You know, that's a really good point. Unlike SJWs, I can be friends with people not even in the Fandom Menace. Half of my subs I did not even find on the Fandom Menace channel. Yeah, you know, I have subs from Comicsgate, War Campaign, all over the place. Fandom Menace, you know, and you know, that's all good. You know, subs that come by, they want to be there. You know, we all got great subs, and we all cross pollinate. You know, because we're like a family tree. You know, we're branching out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Great folks in the chat. Great folks.
And just remember, you know, just never limit yourself. Just never limit yourself, because you never know with that person who you are discrediting for just because of the people or the company that they may keep. You don't know what that person might actually be like. That person might be the greatest friend that you could ever meet, but you discredit them just because of the people they associate with, and that's just sad. That is small thinking. So don't ever do that, man. Keep your your thoughts open.
Yeah, being open, man. You can't let yourself get caught up in the minutia. Because if you get caught up in the minutia, you miss really important things that happen, things that matter to the heart.
Yep.
Mind, body, spirit. Lead with the heart. You know.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming by, and I truly do appreciate it. And remember, never let anybody tell you what you can and can't do, what you should and shouldn't say, because your silence gives consent. And I will catch you all next time. Later, y'all.